Just launched, you're setting things up for success, what do you need to worry about? First off, accessibility. What I mean by this is users and search engines both need to be able to reach all of the pages, all the content that you've created on your website in easy ways. And you need to make sure you don't have any sort of dumb mistakes that can harm your SEO.
The holy grail of your marketing. It can be a really critical component, and you need to make the determination, is it something that you're going to do, or are you going to get an external party to do it for you? And that comes down to whether or not you can make the ROI work for you. Getting an external SEO to work on your space now, it's more expensive. The landscape's a lot more competitive.
WordPress. Now, this is kind of a broad statement. WordPress takes care of 80–90% of search engine optimization. When I say that, what I mean is the mechanics of search engine optimization. And by that, we talk about how crawlable a website is. You would be amazed at how many sites throw up a big old glob of Flash, right? Or block a page with robots.txt so we can't even crawl it. So by using WordPress, you've already taken the first big step. WordPress is a fantastic piece of software. We crawl roughly in order of PageRank. That means the more PageRank you have, the faster you're likely to be found, the deeper we'll crawl on your site, the more often we'll visit your pages to see if they've been refreshed. Okay, cool, PageRank, magic green juice. How do I get more PageRank?
Hello friends. In the world of internet marketing and SEO, you need to find the people you can trust and rely on. After all, they are taking care of your websites, your business, and essentially your money, which affects your livelihood.
It's so dangerous because Google is just really on top of throwing people out of the index or penalizing them very heavily when their link profile looks really scummy. And when you don't have any trustworthy quality signals to boost you up, that's when low quality links can hurt the most. So,
meet Dave. 10 years ago, Dave's business was a success. Thousands of clients used his services every day. But the internet and new technologies drastically changed the way we all do business and began to impact local brick and mortar companies. Because Dave didn't know how to use these new methods properly and didn't adapt to online business, he started to lose his clients to his internet-savvy competitors.
Imagine for a minute that you're a librarian, but not a normal one. You're a librarian for every book in the world. People depend on you every day to find the exact book they need. How do you do it? You need a system. You need to know what's inside every book and how books relate to each other. Your system needs to take in a lot of information and spit out the best answers for a patron's questions. It's not an easy job. Search engines like Google and Bing are the librarians of the internet.
That if you do manage to get your site to the top of Google for a good niche, then you can expect a flood of visitors and sales every day. Sure, you can get tons of traffic from social networks and other places too. However, with Google, you're putting your site right in front of people the moment that they're looking to buy.
Do not overuse the keywords in this.
SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization and refers to everything you can do to help your website come up high on search results for relevant queries. For example, let's say I'm a hypnotherapist working in central London. Ideally, I want anyone who searches hypnotherapist central London on Google to see my website in their search results. In order for this to happen, I need to optimize my website. I need to think about the content, design, images, and links with SEO in mind. So how do you do that?
From that list, again, only if it is natural, only if it makes sense. You'll know what I mean when you see it. Some queries make sense as a search phrase, but it makes absolutely no sense as a page title. And so you don't want to make it look unnatural. You can also select for your area if you're doing local SEO. And not only your particular area, but the adjoining regions. Because, of course, Google's going to ignore the keywords to some extent, and they're going to just, if someone types in martial arts, they're going to give them the martial arts in their particular region. Content on your site has to be updated regularly. Even legacy articles, you should update them with some new information, if possible. Never delete a page if possible. If you don't need to, always update it, always change it.
Really cool stuff. What we're going to be getting into today is what I consider the key to the current algorithm. I've been working with a lot of SEOs who are much more skilled than I am. I'm okay at this. But SEOs who are making over $100,000 per month in various different areas, SEOs who are ranking for really, really big searches that we'll be pointing out a little bit today. And this is what's going on. This is what is going to make your site go up and down. If your site's not getting the rankings you want right now, this is how to do it. If your rankings are really slow, this is why. And if your site's not ranking at all or getting penalized, this is probably the cause. So what we're going to do is...
The big thing you need to understand right now is Google looks at two things. It looks at two things, and it also looks at one thing before it really starts counting the other. And this is site authority and the power of links. Now, site authority is passed by domain authority. This is coming from sites that are really popular online, important websites. Important websites. A PBN is not an important website. So get that through your head really quickly before getting to that. And then what it looks at is the power of links, aka link juice. And this is passed by the pages the links are placed on. This is why PBNs worked really, really well in the past and still work to an extent today. There's a delay in it because Google is looking at the site authority of the sites linking into it and your site itself when it goes out there. Now, Google is 70% in searches just paying almost exclusive attention to authority signals before link juice. Okay, think about it. How much sense would it make for a brand new website to suddenly get all these links from these sites that have a bunch of old powerful links coming to it, but no one is discussing them at all on important sites where 90% of web activity goes on?
Is understanding keywords. Keywords are what millions of users type into Google search every day. Of course, Google tracks all this information, but it's nice enough to aggregate it into a few useful tools. With SEO and keywords, the idea is if you're starting a site, you want to incorporate keywords that aren't competitive.
Now, here's the important part that most people just don't know. Over 94% of people that use Google only click results on this first page. If they don't find what they're looking for, they usually don't bother clicking on subsequent result pages. Doing SEO is so important. When people search for something that's relevant to them, and they see your website in their search results, they're going to click and visit your page. What mattered a lot more was whether those papers were cited often by other papers. So they applied this citation concept to web search. They suggested websites that were backlinked a lot, that is to say, were referred to often by other websites, were more likely to be relevant. That's how Google was born.
To game the search engines. Back then it was Excite and Yahoo, and then Google came along, and the way that they would game it to try to get the search engines to move them higher in the rankings was to do what's called keyword stuffing. This doesn't work anymore, but this is what it used to look like for someone trying to rank for the web page about Father's Day. They would just put the word Father's Day everywhere, and it doesn't even make any sense. And listen, how do I get my web page to rank higher in your search engine? Google's answer has always been this: make sure your page would be something that a human would want to read. So in other words, don't just write it, with random keywords, and don't just fill it with lots of ads. Don't just fill it with links out to try to game the system. Write it like a human being. If a human being came along and looked at your web page, would they get actual value from it? So if you are trying to game the system because you're thinking you can sneak it by Google's algorithms, you can't, because at some point, a human being employed by Google will come and look at your page with their eyeballs.